Welcome to my channel, where every song lyric, every movie scene, and every book page reveals its secrets. Welsh musician John Cale once compared the story of the song Hallelujah to a long snowball effect. When Leonard Cohen first performed his creation, it didn't leave a strong impression on the audience. But that little snowball began rolling downhill. And as it gathered cover versions along the way, it grew into one of the most beloved, most frequently performed, and, as Kale put it, most misunderstood songs of all time. It's known that Leonard Cohen spent several years writing Hallelujah, reportedly penning around 80 verses before eventually selecting just a few for the final version. The process was painstaking. Cohen later recalled that at one point, he was literally banging his head against the floor, sitting in his underwear on the carpet of a hotel room. He offered a brief explanation of the song's core idea in an interview. Hallelujah is a Hebrew word that means glory to the Lord. The song explains that there are many kinds of hallelujahs. I say, all the perfect and broken hallelujahs have equal value. It's a desire to affirm life, not in a formal, religious way, but with enthusiasm and emotion. He also gave another explanation of what the word meant to him. This world is full of conflicts and things that can't be reconciled, but there are moments when we can surrender and embrace the whole mess. That's what I mean by hallelujah. The lyrics of the original 1984 version are filled with biblical references to Samson and Delilah, to David and Bathsheba, and others. However, Cohen emphasized that this was not a religious song. I deliberately said hallelujah. There are religious hallelujahs, but there are many others. When you look at the world and your own life, sometimes all you can say is hallelujah. The literal meaning is glory to the Lord, but it's not exactly gratitude. It's an acknowledgement of a force we cannot resist. What can we do in the face of it? As time passed, Cohen moved even further away from the religious framing of hallelujah. He significantly changed the lyrics to shift the focus. In a 1988 concert in Antwerp, he explained, "I wrote this song 5 or 6 years ago, and it had the chorus, Hallelujah. It included some biblical references, although they became more and more distant. Eventually, I realized there was no longer any need for them, so I rewrote it. It became a secular Hallelujah." That same year, at a concert in Reykjavik, he said, "I wanted to move Hallelujah into the secular world, into the everyday world. David's Hallelujah was still a religious song. I wanted to show that Hallelujah can appear in things that have nothing to do with religion." Still, Hallelujah has been interpreted in many different ways. One popular reading suggests that the song is about a man and a woman in a relationship where love has long since faded, and all that remains is acceptance, resignation, and the echo of something once beautiful. The number of professional covers of Hallelujah is practically impossible to count. And at the top of that list, of course, stands the universally acclaimed version by Jeff Buckley, which he was inspired to create after hearing John Cale's rendition. Buckley included the song on his 1994 album Grace, and it became his signature piece. Much has been written and said about Jeff's version, so I won't repeat it all. I'll just say this. I really like it. I find his performance incredibly sensual, and honestly, I don't understand why Hallelujah didn't gain widespread popularity during Buckley's lifetime. Jeff himself called the song an ode to life and love. He once said, "If you really listen closely, you'll hear that it's about sex, about love, about life on earth. Hallelujah is not a tribute to a person, an idol, or even God. It's a hallelujah to orgasm." Buckley's interpretation clearly differs from Cohen's original vision, and perhaps that's why he once admitted he hoped Leonard Cohen would never hear his version. At its core, the creative idea behind Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah, as I see it, lies in the powerful rhetorical paradox found in the exclamation, "Oh my God!" a phrase that simultaneously expresses spiritual ecstasy and raw physical orgasm. These two experiences, while seemingly opposed in moral or religious frameworks, are deeply effective and existentially intense. Isn't that an incredible foundation for a song? I'm talking about true art, not the shallow pop content that often passes for songs nowadays. The theme is brilliant, but walking that line between sacred and profane requires real poetic balance. Faced with the limitations of poetic brevity, Cohen uses hyperlinks, symbolic shorthand, to allude to rich narratives and emotional universes. In the first two of the four original verses, he references biblical stories, particularly the life of King David, a figure who, importantly, was both a psalmist and a sinner. From David's voice, Cohen utters two contrasting meanings of the same word, hallelujah. In the first verse, it is the sacred hallelujah, the song of the psalmist. In the second, it's the worldly hallelujah, the voice of a man who lusted after Bathsheba, seduced her while she was married, and sent her husband Uriah to die on the battlefield when he discovered she was pregnant. The moral ambiguity is profound. Despite David's sins, it is through this line, David begat Solomon by the wife of Uriah, that the genealogy of Jesus Christ proceeds. Solomon, their second child, was born in marriage. Their first child, however, died shortly after birth as a divine punishment. In other words, Cohen uses biblical duality to reflect the duality inside the word hallelujah, sacred and sinful, whole and broken. In the third verse, Cohen reflects on this contrast directly. It doesn't matter which you heard, the holy or the broken hallelujah. At first glance, this seems to say, both are valid, both are meaningful, but underneath, it's a paradox, a koan, a kind of spiritual riddle. Psalmic tradition. The broken hallelujah belongs to the fragmented, fallen, sensual world, and yet both are valid expressions of life. The final verse feels like a kind of epitaph not just for Cohen, but for anyone who has tried, failed, and kept going. It's about a mortal being who gave his best without games or lies, knowing his limits. Things didn't turn out perfectly, but still, hallelujah remains the last word. A final breath of dignity, surrender, and grace. One line stands out in particular. I couldn't feel, so I tried to touch. This is one of Cohen's most powerful lines, capturing the very essence of being human, the tension between emotion and action, between the internal and the external, between numbness and desire. It's a lyrical echo of the whole song's core theme, the sacred and the broken, side by side. Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah is not a religious hymn, nor is it merely a love song. It is a profound meditation on duality, human contradiction, and the need to find peace, or at least honesty, within our messy, sacred, and broken lives. Whether you sing it with your heart full of joy or grief, it still counts as hallelujah. It's a rather joyful song. I remember singing it to Bob Dylan. He especially liked the final verse. Leonard Cohen, Paroles et Musiques, 1985. The incredible journey of Hallelujah's popularity began with a cover by Kale, recorded for the 1991 Leonard Cohen tribute album, I'm Your Fan. According to legend, Kale asked Cohen to fax him the lyrics, and Leonard sent over 15 pages of verses. Kale later joked that all he had to do was pick the dirtiest ones. His version was modeled after the way Cohen had started performing Hallelujah live. More raw, emotionally exposed, and stripped down from the original studio take. Cale's rendition inspired countless artists to create their own interpretations. One of the most famous and beloved of them all is Jeff Buckley's version, featured on his 1994 album Grace. Buckley's take didn't gain massive attention during his lifetime, but it eventually became iconic, topping charts and earning a place on Rolling Stone's list of the 500 greatest songs of all time. Over the years, Hallelujah has been performed by Bob Dylan, Rufus Wainwright, K.D. Lang, and hundreds of others. Today, there are more than 300 recorded versions of the song, and it's frequently featured in films and television dramas, weddings and funerals, talent shows around the world.